Incredible! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 128 of The Grove Podcast. Now, I hope you're all doing well. It's Sunday morning, Arsenal top of the league, the Liverpool cracks are widening, so yeah, what's not to like? It's a good Sunday. The sun is out, bit chilly, bit autumnal, but yes, things are looking good. So there we go. So look, in today's pod, we'll be looking back at yesterday's pretty comfortable 2-0 win against West Ham. Looking back a bit at our season so far, a bit of chat about Arteta after his 300th game, and yeah, some good positive chat I feel, and joining me today to help us talk through that, and maybe not in the most positive of moods, but that's for another reason, is Jamie. How are you? How's your head? And how was it? How do you feel after Liverpool getting a taste of their own medicine last night?
Phenomenal. Yeah. My head's absolutely fine. Thank you very much. Yes, I was out late last night, but it's feeling all right, and I'm feeling pretty breezy, and I'm extremely positive about being top of the league. It's just lovely.
Indeed, and look, let's soak it all up. It might not last. Who cares? Let's enjoy it while we can. It's things are on the up, and we're here to soak it all up. And if we go a bit over the top, so what? Before we get on with that, look, as always, if you can follow, like, subscribe, leave a rating, comment on all the usual podcast apps, that'd be greatly appreciated. Take a couple of minutes, and it just helps spread the word. So there we go. So on with the show, and as always, what was your highlight and low light from yesterday's 2-0 win against West Ham?
Low light, I'll go with a combined highlight and low light, right? So
okay.
Is seeing Martin Ødegaard go off injured. It just feels like we don't really play a game without somebody getting injured. And highlight was the fact that it just felt like, well, that's okay, because we just bring on Zubimendi. We just bring in a world-class midfielder, shuffle Eze over to 10, and then at some point in the game, you've even got room to be able to go and bring on Marino and Wanyeri, and it just kind of highlights the depth that I wasn't in any way worried when he went off, really. I was like, that's a shame for Martin Ødegaard, but in no way at all was I worried. It felt like a real sort of, that's okay, that's fine, it's not a problem. Like, it's a shame for him, but we're going to be fine here, and we'll be fine next week, and we'll be fine the week after. It'll all be all right. We've got the quality and depth to be able to deal with this. So that's my kind of combined highlight, low light.
Yeah, I mean, on the Ødegaard thing, there's sort of multiple levels to it. I mean, you feel sorry for him personally, because I think he's the first player in Premier League history to have to be substituted before half time in three opening home games or something like that. So that's a nuts stat. And I really feel that had he not gone off early in the previous two games, he would have gone off immediately, rather than try to force the issue. I feel because of those last two games, because of how the season's gone on, he's so desperate to want to, and he was back to form against Olympiacos, and the last 20 minutes he was the game changer against Newcastle, and I really think had he not had the start he had, he would have gone, yeah, I'm not going to do this, let me go off. But I think he just really wanted, come on, please no. And I think he just didn't want it to be real. Do you know what I mean? And he didn't want to accept it. And then eventually it was obvious. And look, Arteta said on Ødegaard after the game, look, and I don't know if you've seen it, but he said, look, with Martin, it was a clash, knee to knee. It's not looking very positive at the moment. Immediately he was uncomfortable. I just spoke to him. He's not positive about it. He's got a brace on. We'll have to wait and see from the doctors. And it was like a knee on knee, bone on bone clash. So it's not like foot planted, twisting of the ligaments or anything like that. So hopefully it's just a really uncomfortable, and it was in the air as well. So again, you don't have that restriction there, but it seemed quite painful. But it's sod's law. Somerville, no problem, just carried on running, and it was on the attack. Ødegaard on the floor and had to come off. So you got to.
He's international captain as well. Somerville, not he's Norwegian as well, isn't he?
No, Somerville. No, is he Norwegian? No. You can look that up while we get on. I thought it was, if anything, I thought it was American, but you can have a look at that. I don't think Somerville's Norwegian. Surely not. But maybe we go. You can look that up.
He's Dutch. He played in Norway, though.
There you go. Oh, there you go. Well, that's very good. So, So no, it was that. I mean, in terms of my low light, I'll get to my highlight in a bit. It was freezing. I wasn't expecting to be that cold. It wasn't the most enthralling games, but it was the injuries. And then not only did we have Ødegaard go off, then we also had Rice. not a reoccurrence of a back injury. We don't know, but I think he's had issues in the past with his back, and Arteta said that he's not all right because he asked me to come off. So that's a shame. He had pain in his back and he could not carry on, which is something very unusual for Declan. So we'll have to assess him and see how he is. And you're right. I mean, for him to ask to come off, that is not like him at all. And he's usually a pretty good trooper and stuff like that. But again, I think game state, our bench, you feel a bit more emboldened. So no, I need to protect myself, but protect the team and be there for the future. So I think you're right. We're in such a better position to handle this stuff. Look, let's hope it's international. Just in case you didn't realise, it's international break now for the next 2 weeks. So maybe 2 weeks R&R and back for the next Premier League game. Maybe we're egging the pudding a bit. Maybe we're playing the game. Maybe we're learning from previous years. I don't think that's us. But we'll see, and I don't think that's the players either. So we'll see. I think we'll find out in the next couple of days. In terms of the highlight, of course, and it wasn't about the game, but it's the day as a whole. We ended up top of the league at the end of the day. I said that was that. It was funny. I think we were all hate watching the Liverpool Chelsea game, or keeping an eye on it. And as I said, it was quite nice to see Liverpool get a taste of their own medicine. As I said, the cracks are opening, Slot's losing his patience and getting a bit snarky. And that team is not looking so great. Still early days, 7 days. It's only 1 point lead, but and look, seeing where we were, I think last week before the week 6 or game week 6, we were 5 points behind Liverpool. Could have ended up being 8, and up until the 84th minute we were still 5 points behind Liverpool, and now a week later see where we are, top of the league, and it's great. So that's I think that's a pretty good highlight, pretty positive thing. Just before we get onto the lineup stuff, and maybe a low light, or maybe just something that I've seen on the socials, I think it was commented on the group. What did you make of the atmosphere yesterday? Was it an issue for you? There's a lot of stuff saying, it was a bit just dull, or wasn't very atmospheric. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was just. I can explain it, but what did you think of the atmosphere, and did it bother you?
I mean, firstly, I think in a lot of those games, the atmosphere is always a little bit, subdued, because they become quite perfunctory as like a game and a performance, but. I didn't really notice it myself, but then I was sat yesterday over the top of the West Ham fans. I was literally row 1 in club level, right over the top of the West Ham fans. So I was just getting it in the ear all game, obviously, from them down there. There were a couple of, what West Ham are like as well. So, it felt like the entire of Essex descended upon that block, and they were largely absolutely uninterested in the game from quite early on, and spent most of the game turned around trying to wind up blokes in the club level and get them thrown out. And they managed to successfully hook in a couple of geezers. So
wow.
So the atmosphere for me was largely quite funny. That kind of stuff. Sort of laughing some off and just enjoying the game. But that sort of drowned out anything, but it would have drowned out anything anyway. Even on a normal day, if you get them all there and they were in fine voice because they had nothing to do but have a party. Yeah,
they knew where their level, but they knew they were very unlikely to get anything out of the game. So again, like a lot of travelling army, it's a bit more that dark humour type stuff. We'll back the boys. We know where we are. And we know who we are. If we get anything brilliant.
Just there to sing songs to us, basically, and take the mick out of us, and that was it, really. And
Declan Rice, So,
but no, as a result, as I say, I sort of didn't notice any lack of atmosphere or a great atmosphere either way. But I do understand with those games at the Arsenal, I think it is often the case where it just, when you got those perfunctory performances where it doesn't feel like there is a great deal on the line, you don't generate the best of atmospheres.
No, and look, I think we have to really admit it as Arsenal fans. We aren't like the loudest or the most passionate. Yes, we can lift it and we can get up for games and like Real Madrid or the North London derby, or the ending in certain moments, certain games and crescendos and stuff like that. But it's not like going into Galatasaray or other stadiums where they are very good at generating that atmosphere. I don't think that's ever been us per se. And you're right. It was the game state, expecting to win. I think that expecting to win, and it's just like, yeah, okay, fine, we won 2-0, easy. What's there to get carried away about? So and there was a bit of atmosphere and stuff, but yeah, I'm not too fussed about it. And again, but you just see the online comments are, it's the tourist fans and this, that, and the other, and say, well, there are 40,000 season ticket holders in there as well, so who aren't the most vociferous either. So I think Ashburton Army did a decent job for a change and did lift it a bit, but I'm not. I'm up a tier 8 rows from the front, and I'm just watching the game and enjoying watching the game. I don't feel the need to generate any. It's a bit different if I was standing in the North Bank or something like that. But even then, I'm just enjoying watching the football, and there we go. So I'm not that fussed about it, but it does grind people's gears, and people have different go to games for different reasons. And if they're not getting their singing fix, and they feel they're missing out. So, but I wasn't too worried.
Go to the bloody karaoke bar, But in all seriousness, yeah, I mean, I completely agree with all that, and I think I sort of, the time where it bothers you there's not an atmosphere is when it feels like the team needs lifting, right?
Yeah.
That's the time where I feel, I kind of want to generate one. I have a little sing while I'm there, but I'm not the most vocal in general. But when you feel like the team needs lifting or it's that big occasion, you tend to, you make a lot more noise, and the atmosphere feels really important.
Yeah.
To be frank, it doesn't feel that important against the crap team.
Yeah, it's West Ham United at home, and there's
same with Olympiacos as well. It's actually, I mean, they gave us a much better game in fairness, Olympiacos, but the atmosphere was a bit. It's always a bit weird for those games, because again, they feel somewhat perfunctory. They don't feel important, and that's that's what it is.
Yeah, is that thing, does the team lift the crowd or the crowd lift the team? And sometimes it's neither, and there we go. No, but I don't have an issue with it. Some people do, and there we go. Each to their own. So onto the lineup, and I think that was the massive talking point before the game. I mean, I think it's very hard to predict. At the moment, I think towards the end of the season, when it comes to winning time, predicting the starting lineup will be a lot easier. But at the moment, it's quite hard to know what we're doing. I think we had some ideas, but it was like Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel Calafiori, then Rice, Eze, Ødegaard, Saka, Trossard, Gyökeres, and there were some rumours about no Big G because of the injury after Olympiacos, no Zubi because I think he's played a ton of minutes, and no Gyökeres again because he's being flogged to death. And in the end, I wasn't surprised Zubi didn't play, and I was half expecting Ødegaard to play instead. But the big talking point was Eze and Ødegaard starting in the midfield as the 8 and the 10s. Yeah, how did you? Were you happy to see that? What did you think about the lineup, and do you think it worked?
I was delighted to see it. I thought that's brilliant, right? We've kind of fancied this. Seeing Eze go over to left mid. Did mean that then Leo Trossard started, and I was just a bit like, I don't know, as per usual, you go, which Leo are we going to get today? And we had a good Leo, I thought, actually. Yeah. I thought we had a really good game.
Just on Leo, the question in the Horatia before the game was, what photographs has he got of Arteta? No, joking aside. Yeah.
I thought he had a cracking game. But,
he was fine. He was fine.
I get you.
You get my point.
Yep, 100%. But no, it's like it was I thought that it showed a lot of ambition to turn up there with such an attacking lineup in general, right? Because again, we've had many discussions about, and lots of other people have as well, about the qualities of Martinelli as a defensive winger, and how you might want him to be in there as well in order to compensate for the fact that you've got Eze and Martin Ødegaard on the pitch at one time. But no, he just went, no, I want effectively a bit of a front five out there. Eze played very advanced. He very much kind of hung in that left 10 space. I did think it didn't look tremendously effective early doors necessarily. As in particular wasn't really getting as involved as he might have done. But then that has always been that sort of left 10, left 8 position for us, right? Like those players have not spent the majority of their time on the ball. They have largely spent most of their time off the ball, whether it's been Granit Xhaka, whether it's been Mikel Merino, whether it's been Declan Rice. Declan Rice probably spends more time on the ball than anyone that's ever played that position because he's so box to box. But largely, people who've played that sort of left eight, Havertz when he was there as well, they do most of their work off the ball. So that wasn't a surprise, and I was sort of interested to see how it was going to shape up. And then obviously we're kind of robbed of seeing what it looks like over a full game because Ødegaard plays on for a fair bit of time, hurt, and then ultimately goes off. But no, I really liked the way that we started the game. I thought that was really interesting. I couldn't help but think whilst watching it as well, and I don't know how you felt about this, that it felt like it would have been more natural with Zubimendi at 6, because I did think when he came on and Rice shifted to 8 and Eze went effectively to the Ødegaard position, everything looked a little bit more fluid anyway. But again, I don't necessarily want to say that's because of Zubimendi or it's because it was all unbalanced. I think just it was something new and it still could have worked out, and we were robbed of seeing what that was going to be. But I did think when Zubi came on, all of a sudden everything sort of clicked really nicely.
Yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts, and maybe this conservative nature isn't quite it. I just felt it was a little unbalanced. It was basically a 4-1-5. Yeah. And that's why also, as much as Zubimendi at the base is really, he's absolutely brilliant, and he came on and put in a stellar performance for 60 minutes. That's also because he's got Rice there, double pivot on the left. I think having Zubimendi as the sole shield to the back four might be a bit lightweight, might not be as defensively dynamic, because Declan Rice, like the lawnmower, he can cover every piece of grass. So whereas Zubimendi, a different style of player. So I think if you're going to go with those two, and you'd have Zubimendi that is really lightweight, and that's a lot of pressure on that back four. So I felt it was a little bit unbalanced. But again, you got to try these things, and if you can't try it at home against West Ham United, when can you try it? When are you going to do these things? And normally we expect to see this. Right, we're chasing a goal, so like again against Newcastle, we're chasing a goal. We have to do it. So therefore, you go, okay, that's fine. But to start with it, fine, do it. I wasn't sold. I'm not hell bent on getting Eze and Ødegaard in the middle. Eze and Ødegaard, yes, but Eze from the left, because he can do what Trossard does, and I'd rather have Eze on the left. So that's how you get them both in for me. But again, it's great that we got the opportunity to try things out, and this is the time of the season. These are the type of games to try things out, and it's just unfortunate, and we could have been, we could have been 1 or 2-0 up with them both playing. So yeah, it's unfortunate we didn't get a chance to see it fully. And the thing that I was uncertain was, well, where. Yeah, okay, it was like a 4-1-5, but we've been playing more of a 4-2-4, with the Rice and Zubimendi. So who was going to make that extra midfielder? And it was really clear. Calafiori acted as the auxiliary midfielder. He was coming in, and I don't know if it was quite a double pivot, but he was taking up that left-hand midfielder role quite a lot. I mean, he was everywhere. But yeah, he from where I was seeing, I had a really good, from where I'm sitting, especially attacking in the first half. I'm on the sort of west stand and stuff. So you could really, and so on Calafiori's side in the first half, you can see him taking up that position quite a lot. To me, it seemed on midfield. Against Newcastle, it was Trossard who was making that extra midfielder in the place, and Calafiori would be out wide. But today, I think Trossard stayed a bit further wide, and Calafiori was the sort of like extra midfielder. So we're playing actually more of a 3-2-5 rather than a 4-1-5. And yeah. Whenever he took that position, but yeah, there was times when Calafiori, again, he was doing what he did against Leeds and against Forest, where he's just everywhere, which is great. So yeah, I mean, good to try it. Shame we didn't get to see it, and I'm sure we'll try it again sometime in the future. So in terms of the game, look, it was a really dominant performance, really comfortable. I mean, we had 68% possession to their 32, 2.73 XG to their 0.49, and I think the majority of that was that header in the second minute from Fulkrug. We had 21 shots to their 4. I heard a stat earlier today or last night. We had I think 47 touches in their box to their 7. We had 5 shots on target. They didn't even get one on target. 4 big chances to their 2. We missed a couple of big chances. They missed both their chances. So, yeah, look, utterly dominant. So, yeah, again, other than the domination, what were your overall thoughts about the game, how we played, how it panned out?
Yeah, I mean, it's just confident quality performance against a crap team, right? Which is nice to see. It felt like we got on with putting them to bed, as quickly as we possibly could. There was lots of pressure, little bit, as you say, a little bit of creaky moments very early on, where Fulkrug got his header off, and I think there was a ball went across the 6-yard box a little bit dangerously at some point, and that was about it really. After that point, we sort of settled. We got them really, under the cosh, and we sort of slowly started turning those screws. So yeah, it was confident, dominant. Would have been nice to see another goal. I had 3-0 predicted. Would have been nice.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did.
It felt like we were very, very, very close to 3.
Well, given the XG, it was a 2-0, 3-0 win. 2.73 XG. Some have it at 3.12 XG. So
there were there were a fair few opportunities. There's at least a couple that Gyökeres, you think probably could have scored. Certainly one that Eza could have scored.
Yeah, hell yes.
Came off the back of one that Gyökeres could have scored.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think you've got to take the positives out of that and just go, that was confident, it was nice. We tried something different. It still worked. We still we brought on quite a few subs as well, and I enjoyed seeing those boys come out. It was nice seeing Wanyeri get on the pitch, but yeah, easy.
Yeah. Yeah, for me the same. It was all very easy. Yeah, we did what we need to do without exerting too much energy, and we're getting good at that. And West Ham, no matter how they've played or where they've been a bit of a thorn in the side the last 2 seasons. 2 seasons back, we gave them a battering and somehow lost 2-0, and that was quite costly. And then last season, we were very early on in our Marino centre forward period, and MLS got sent off, and we got done 1-0. So this season, it was good to see that we did the job, and did the job we should have done in the last 2 seasons. And I think everyone wants the swashbuckling dismantling of West Ham United. We want it to be a lot more fun and all the rest of it. But I don't know, West Ham had their new manager, so they were always going to focus on trying to keep things tight, not to give to give too much away. We were trying new things with the team. We're still figuring things out. And even at 1-0, West Ham aren't going to come out. Always with these teams, if they're down 1-0, they don't come out until the 70th, 75th minute, because then they say, right, okay, let's try and actually get something. But they're still in the mindset of, well, let's not go 2-0 down. So not a lot changes in terms of game state, and we could see that yesterday. So you say, well, if you're not going to try, we will keep the ball, and we'll try a few things, but that's why I think the second goal was important. So it kills off the game. And they go, well, now we're not going to get 2, so we're not going to do. So yeah, the first goal obviously important, is just like, okay, that's your 3 points in the bag, so to speak. And then the second goal just guarantees it. And it may not have been that exciting, but look, league winning seasons are often made up of these functional, unremarkable, forgettable types of games and these types of win, and that's fine. We don't want each game to be an event. Imagine every game was like Newcastle last week. It'll be exhausting on so many levels. And look at Liverpool. Every game is a drama, and there's so much going on, and that's not unsustainable, and eventually catches up with you, like we can see. So I will take this all day long. So we want to see a bit more excitement, attacking play, goals flooding in. But in terms of where we are at the moment, I don't think that's going to happen too much. Yes, we'll have games maybe like Leeds, and we hopefully we will get a few, and maybe we'll turn some of these XG games where it's 3 into 5, 6s, and some will be 2s and 1s, and that's just the way the variance it is. So I think we're just managing it about right. And if this means we come April, May, winning season, we're in good shape, which we haven't been in the last few seasons. When we're in a position to take advantage of the position we're in, be fit and ready for big matches, I'm all for it. I think we're managing it really well. It's just we're getting screwed by Lady Luck with our injuries, but even then, seems to be going. We seem to be doing okay with that. So there we go. So
fully agree.
Indeed. So look, that first half, I think we had a good first half. We should, as you said, I think we both said we should have been maybe 2 or 3 goals to the good, and it was dominance. Should have been 2-3 goals to the good. And I think we said exactly the same after the Olympiacos game. So and you can see we had a lot of attacking intent, and there was a chance from Timber in the 5th minute, saved with the legs. I think Eze had a shot blocked in the 14th, in the 8th, and then there was that Eze chance, and you would have had a good view of this, and again, I think it was a bit like Martinelli. We were just expecting the ball, the net to be bulging, and as he get his first goal at the Emirates. But as I always say to my son, get your head over the ball.
It was just that. I mean, it's that typical, inside of the boot, try and just poke it. Exactly what Rice does for the actual goal, right? It's the same opportunity effectively twice. Just once it presents itself to Eza, and he just absolutely spoons it. But plus side is, it didn't feel like it was a huge opportunity loss, because it felt like we were going to keep getting a few of those opportunities. And some games, it does end up being horrendous and whatever. But this one, it really never felt like it was going to be that much
Costly.
of a storyline after the game, at least. Anyway, but it's what can you do? And I thought Gyökeres was going to score before that anyway. And he's sort of that strange bundling of the ball up towards the line as it then kind of somehow squirms loose and comes back and whatever. But I was convinced that was going to be Gyökeres scoring initially.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you would have had a better view because it would have been all in front of you. We just had everything behind, so we think that's how close it was. But there we go. But it wasn't costly. And then Ødegaard had his injury on the 20th minute. Saka on the 24th scores, but lovely pass by Rice over the top. It was like a nice little pitch, like sandwich, over the top, right into his stride. But he was offside. And then on 30. We had to make the substitution. I mean, Ødegaard tried. It just, you could just see him desperately trying, but he just wasn't going to happen. Ødegaard off, Zubimendi on. And what was interesting is that, so in the previous two games, when Ødegaard's gone off, Nwaneri's the one to come on.
Yeah.
And interesting that he didn't keep with the formation. And he must have obviously saw something, or you think, well, if I'm going to do the formation, I want to do it with Eze and Ødegaard. Is it too risky to do it with Neri as well? So therefore,
with Nwaneri, I think the balance is even more skewed then, isn't it? When Neri is just he don't get me wrong, he's not ill disciplined or anything like that, but he's not Martin Ødegaard levels of ability to be able to lead the press and kind of be such a positive defensive figure at times, even if he's he might not be some kind of physical DM or anything like that. You're never going to see the man playing a proper pivot, right? But he's a very, very, he's very much a part of our defensive organisation in midfield. So, I think the balance would have been too far off with Nwaneri personally.
Yeah, well, he was interviewed afterwards, and the question was, with bringing on Zubimendi, what was the thinking there? Because when Ødegaard's come off before, Nwaneri's the one that's replaced him. So did you want to see a bit of something different? So Arteta said yes, especially the way they acted and the way they were matching our midfield, and the spaces that we could create with Zubi, I think, was better. They didn't have any intention to play or combine in the first phase as well, so that was creating a lot of direct play, second balls, and we wanted to make sure we could control and dominate the game in the areas that we wanted, and that's the reason why. So, West Ham were going long a lot. They were bypassing the midfield. Again, a bit like Olympiacos, testing out our defenders. That it was really windy, so they could have been like in the first minute, Gabriel misjudges, or Gabriel Saliba misjudges a header. They get the corner, they get the full chance. So they were creating issues just with being direct, and Zubi's very good at picking up the. Well, one, he's really good in the air, really good in the air, but also picking up the pieces, picking up the second ball. So, I think it just made a lot of more sense.
Again, he's 6 foot. I still don't get it. Now that I've seen him a bunch of times, I still don't think of him as a 6 foot player at all. Like, it's something weird, right? It's
an optical illusion. I get it. It's an optical illusion.
You said it as if to say, despite being a small man, he's good in the air. He's very much like, he's a 6 foot PM, and he's actually reasonably built. It's just for whatever reason. Yeah. Because of his style of play, otherwise, it's like he's almost too cultured to be 6 foot.
So has he got a big touch? Has he got a good touch for a big lad then? Has he got a good touch for a big lad then?
Those of us that are over 6 foot, we're not allowed to be cultured Spanish midfielders. It's beyond our sphere of care. So but no, it is strange, isn't it? But no, I thought Zubi was great when he came on. Really, really, really good.
Yeah, I think. I think we were better after Zubimendi came on, but that's because it was more of a formation we were used to and a structure we were playing, and Declan Rice seamlessly just moved into his old position, and I think they did a really good piece actually on Match of the Day last night about just what Rice did and how he changed it and what Zubimendi did, and look, so. Eze, if you look at the position Eze was for his miss, and then look at the position Rice was, so coming in doing that job there, so I think it was good. But Zubimendi, when he came on, played 60 minutes, 94% pass accuracy, 20 out of 21 attacking third passes, which was the most in the game. He won 5 out of 6 duels, 5 out of 5 tackles. He won as well, and he wasn't dribbled past. So yeah, he was pretty special performance when he came on, and I'm getting the feeling he's now not our single point of failure, but I think he's the one position that we don't have anyone similar to match. So if should anything happen to him, he's the one that you would potentially, you don't have that. Oh, okay, well, Ødegaard's out, Eze in, Rice out, Marino in. We can say that all over the park, other than Eze, which is.
I think that's pretty typical, though. I think that's we're not alone in that respect. You don't have too many of these guys about that are that good in that position. What we do have is a bunch of guys who can kind of couple together and make midfields up, right? And that's great. We do have depth in the position, but to have a player of his kind of qualities is.
Maybe a job for next summer. There we go. A job for next summer. Come on, sort out the squad, Arteta. Right, and then a couple more shots blocked. Trossard and Eze again. So we were probing. We were again we had 21 shots. So and then we did get our goal. So a Timber who was amazing yesterday. Again, another 8 out of 10 performance here. He was played in. Was it? There was a lovely pass by. That was it. Zubimendi into Timber, and then it sort of. I'm trying to read what I said. Played it to Eze. Eze had a really nice shot. So again, this was really good. Again, so Eze was there. I think he had an okay game yesterday, but having that shot early, where in the past we maybe would have tried to cross it or maybe look for something different or this isn't ideal. He actually, no, I'm in here. I'm in the, the right hand side of the box. Takes shot. It was saved. Came out to Rice, got his head over the ball, kept it down well. Good finish. And you would have had a lovely view of the goal. And I want you to confirm. Rice was staring out the West Ham fans before he turned right to go to the Arsenal fans, and was Saka shushing the West Ham fans. Yeah,
I think he was certainly. Rice certainly enjoyed it. I mean, he did kind of go fairly quickly past the West Ham. He didn't give him proper, but they've been giving him dog's abuse. He'd had a couple of free kicks, a couple of corners over there, and and each time he'd be walking over. He was quite happy to make eye contact and have a laugh with him. To be honest, he knows what he's going to get off him. And he was good as gold with it. So, but delighted for him. It was nice for him to do that down the clock end at that point in time, so that he could, even if he was fairly sharp in kind of disappearing off behind the back of the net, he definitely gave him a good old look and a bit of a chortle. So,
good. And Saka definitely went towards the West Ham fans.
I was, I think so. But hey, boys can have a bit of fun in him.
Well, no, I'm good. There's a lot about Saka today that shows. He's the man. He is the leader of this.
I thought he was unplayable yesterday. I thought he was absolutely superb.
He's the leader of this team, and we'll get onto that later. But he's the man. He is Mr. Arsenal, and it's on his shoulders in a good way, as in he's taking it on his shoulders, and he's now becoming. Hey, this is my team, and you don't fucking mess with my team, and you don't mess with Declan Rice, and I love that from him. I think the one main thing I learned about Saka yesterday, he's 24. I thought he's still 22 or 22 or something. He's actually 24. He's like properly grown up.
Yeah, been going for years.
I know, but when
gave him his debut, mate. Like,
it's like Zubimendi. He's not 6 foot, but he is. It's Saka. He's 24, but he's 22. Zubimendi's 6 foot.
You think he's actually 30? He's like 22. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. How can Calafiori be younger than Saka? But there we go. There we go. Then, a bit of what else happened in the second half. I didn't see this, but there was a moment apparently that Kilman grabbed Gyökeres by the face. VAR said was enough for a penalty. I haven't had a chance to look back on that.
I've never seen that at all. I heard a little moment about this, but I didn't see it at all.
Yeah. Saka had a shot blocked, and then Calafiori. So it was so unlucky. The ball broke to him on the edge of the box after a timber run. And what a shot! It was so sweetly struck, and just came off the inside came off the post, sort of inside-ish, and it hit the back of the keeper. But the keeper just deadened the ball, and it didn't do a Martinez Jorginho type thing, and he luckily saved it. So, but that was so sweetly struck, and it's a shame that we didn't get that second goal. But what I did like about that, I don't know, I think that was the one where Timber just ran direct at the West Ham defence, and I think the more we did that, it was a couple of times we did that. I think it was him and maybe Eza did it, and they didn't like it. So I wanted us to do that more, but we didn't. Just run at them, and they didn't. They kept them backing off, and. But I think we created a few chances from that. But it was unfortunate. Going 1-0, could have been 2, could have been 3, but very, very comfortable. And then more of the same in the second half. I think there was some appeals for a handball. VAR said no. I saw it today. I had to look at it 3-4 times. So therefore, if I'm looking at 3-4 times, I'm thinking, well, yeah, there's it. Then what else did? Then there was I don't know if this is a Gyökeres chance. The people behind me said, "Oh, how did Gyökeres miss that?" But there was the one where there was a brilliant pass down the line from Trossard to Rice. I think it was the first time. Great. And then Rice squared the ball. Not as good as Eze did against Forest, because it was just out of reach. I felt it was just out of reach, and you would have been too far away. So I don't know if you've seen a replay of this.
I barely saw a bloody bit of football in the second half, innit? Because I'm right down the other end, and it never came anywhere. I was quite happy it never came anywhere near me, but especially that chance, because when it's going across, I can't, you can't judge time and space and distance from that.
And then even looking on Match of the Day made it look closer than it was.
Yeah.
But actually being there in the stats, it was literally right across my eye line. So I was looking across, and the ball was like a foot away, and he tried to reach it. It was just you need that perfect moment of the ball coming and your feet colliding right time, and it just didn't happen. And the people behind me going, "Oh, Gyökeres missed that." It's like, well, you needed Inspector Gadget legs to get that. So I'm not down on Gyökeres, and that was just one of those ones that just didn't fall our way. And then I think 65th minute we get the penalty. Great pass by Zubi to Timber. He turned the defender sweetly. It was a foul. I thought it was a bit soft, but it was a foul. It's just one of those ones where it sort of starts outside the box, and Timber made sure that it finished inside the box.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
A bit soft, then it could have been a free kick. is my honest reaction to that.
But VAR confirmed, so maybe PGML are making up for last week's debacle. It's one of those ones that it doesn't get overturned. I think there's a few decisions yesterday. It doesn't get overturned. It's like umpire's call, basically. It doesn't get overturned based on the decision, and that's fine, because there was the example Man United against Burnley, started outside the box, finished inside the box, and I quite like that, because had he not done it, Timber was free, it was right on the edge, so could have gone either way, but
it just so didn't matter. I know it's not the right attitude to take in terms of.
I don't know, but. But you say it doesn't matter.
I don't think that game state was going to change. I think it was just a matter of time until the next goal.
Okay. But it's still nice that we got the goal. I mean, it was still 66 minutes. Shit happened. We've been there before. Maybe we're better than.
That's true.
Yeah. But and this is what
I really liked. I thought the second half, my most impressive thing actually was, and it might just have been the angle I'm watching from. So what part of the Arsenal does impress you when you're that far away from the action. But I felt the way that we pushed up and and kind of nullified any of their direct play by just actually saying, well, the thing is, Fulkrug's got to come right back and play in his own half. He's not going to play on the halfway line. He's not going to, and even at that, Fulkrug doesn't exactly worry me in terms of
pace wise, no.
Lieber and Gabriel, and some of it had to come up, but we just went. It was sort of vintage Pep style, right? It was, that's fine. We're going to play with like 10 players in your half, and you're going to put 10 players in your half, and then, you're going to put 11 players in your half. And if there's any time where you get the ball, we're quicker and stronger to it. And it was great. It was great to see. Because it just meant that it just felt like a proper stranglehold, and it was almost a little bit sort of training ground-esque in some respects. It was a
defense
bit
against attack.
It was like we just sat and went, and it was good to see us be such a high quality outfit in that respect, and just go, you're not having the ball back now.
Yeah, I mean they changed, I think, Fulkrug for Potts, I think it was. And the one thing I noticed, he's a lot smaller. But obviously then I'd imagine
came on in midfield. I think the striker was the other lad. It was number 50.
Okay. I wasn't. Okay.
Or something. No.
Okay, but they definitely put on someone smaller and quicker because they realised they realised they weren't getting any change out of Gabriel and Saliba with Fulkrug.
But also he had like zero physicality and just looked. I mean, he just ran around like a man possessed.
Yeah, I think he's like an academy kid.
Yeah, I think pretty much they've chucked him on to just press the centre halves, really, haven't they? And that was kind of his job. But like a bit of a difficult day for him, in fairness. But
But they're not going to get judged on these games. We're not. This is just one as a free hit. It's still learning the thing. I think defensively they're okay. They're learning, so it's fine. This isn't their battle. So I think that's fine. And look, so we get the penalty, and then I think since August 2022, Arsenal versus West Ham has seen more penalties awarded than any other match, and that's 8 in just 7 meetings. So that's a bit nuts. And so Saka steps up to take it, and this really showed. I think everyone was expecting Gyökeres, and maybe get Gyökeres the goal. Not that he needs it. I don't feel I don't think he's in that Havertz situation like against Bournemouth a couple of years back. But yeah, Saka steps up. No, and this was alluding to earlier. I'm the man. This is my team. You can get back in your box, Vic, and I think that's good to see. I think we're a serious team, and that's the action of a serious footballer. And he picks it up. He was not letting anyone have it, and look, the keeper dives early. I have to admit, but I think even if he dives the right way, Saka hits that sweetly, and that there's no stopping that. And you would have seen a great angle of that, because I'm sure I looked at it again. The keeper was like halfway gone before Saka even hit it. So
yeah, and it's a gorgeous penalty though, isn't it? Like really, just confident, nice. I love when he sticks him away like that. Like so, there was a bit of chatter around me as to whether Gyökeres was going to take it because he's kind of never missed or whatever, has he? But I don't think he had any. There was no chance it wasn't going to be Saka. I mean, I think he did that thing where he walked about 40 yards to go and get the ball. A very, very slow walk over. Whilst VAR was going on or whatever it was. So it was nice and confident. Nice to see him get a goal.
Yeah, well, and maybe there was more reason to do it. I mean, there's other things like he scored 5 goals. So his stats against West Ham are pretty good. I think he scored 5 goals in the Premier League against West Ham, and that's the highest he's got against any other opposition. But yesterday was his 200th game, so maybe there was an element of I'm celebrating the 200th game. Was it 200 game? No, it was his 200 Premier League appearance.
Was it his goal involvement as well?
No, yeah. So the stats are, I've got a whole load of stats here around it. So it's his 200th Premier League appearance. So I think he wanted to mark that with a goal. He's now reached 100 Premier League goal contributions. So that's 55 goals and 45 assists.
When you said no, it is, isn't it? There we are.
It's 100. And he's like the 6th youngest to reach that mark. So you got Owen, Rooney, Fowler, Fabregas, Ronaldo, and Lukaku ahead of him. Behind him, Raheem Sterling, and then Harry Kane and Haaland. And only 7 Arsenal players have 100 plus Premier League goal involvements. Henry, Bergkamp, Van Persie, Wright, Walcott, Fabregas, and Perez. And so Saka's now the 8th. So some amazing stats for a 24-year-old. He is our star boy, as they say, and he's the one that leads the team. And I think you were saying, his performance was really good. And again, it feels like he can go up a level. He's playing within himself. He's doing enough to win, and that's still such a high level. You still feel like no, you can go up levels here. You're not giving it your all here. You're doing good, but you're just doing what you need to. And he's so efficient. He seems just to be so efficient in what he does. You don't see him do any. It's hard to describe, but unnecessary running, unnecessary movements. Just gets it, pass the move, takes on the defender when needs to.
Hasn't he? He's become sort of He's become pretty deadly at certain times. And I mean, performances like yesterday, I agree. It's a weird one because he had a really, really great game, but I do agree. Like, it does feel like he somewhat is within himself at times, and he could just go up another notch at any given time.
And he scored 2 goals in 2 games, and it just doesn't feel like it. Yeah, these again, it's a bit like this game. Just churn them out, churn out the wins, churn out the goals. Just keep it ticking over, and it doesn't have to be spectacular, doesn't have to be amazing. You just important goals. These aren't spectacular goals, and they're not like I say dramatic goals. But it was a bit late, but killing off Olympiacos, killing off West Ham. These are just important moments to and I don't think it's stat padding. Because it's not like the 4th or the 5th or the 6th goal. These are meaningful goals. It just feels very Oh, we need to score. Fine, we'll score. so good on him. Then we make a couple of subs. 2-0, game's done. So Winery and Lewis Skelly come on for Calafiori and Trossard, and then Rice and Eze off for Marino and Martinelli. And the game sort of pretty much. We have a few more shots. We have a few more chances. West Ham will have one moment in the 92nd minute, a back post header. Saliba was half asleep. I think he was bored, and that was it. Game over. Said all very easy. So some stats about playing West Ham. Arsenal have won 38 Premier League games against West Ham, so that's the joint most against any other team. And Everton, so can we play you every week? And actually, only one of the 30 Premier League games that we played against the West Ham has ended in a draw. So
really,
so, yeah. So that's
interesting.
Yeah. So there's always someone's always going to win that game. So anyone else stand out? Any other players of note? Any other performances of note from what you saw yesterday?
Fullbacks. I thought Timber was really, really good. I think he getting forward had quite an impressive game for me. Just created a bit of panic a few times. Calafiori, exactly the same. I'm really enjoying Calafiori this season, I've got to say. You were right. He is just he's this superb force of chaos, and there's just something about watching him just be just such a bully at times. There is something about that man that's it's impossible not to really, really enjoy. But I thought in all seriousness, both of the this is a game where you need your fullbacks to be aggressive and to be proactive because they're going to sit so deep. They need to help Trossard. They need to help Saka. They need to earn them the width. And at times be the guy that's bombing on. And both of them did that, and they did so effectively. And I thought that was a really, really nice game from the two of them. So yeah, that probably my main shout outs, I think. Otherwise, the whole team played well, but certainly they were the ones who stood out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we jokingly say about Calafiori, he's a force of nature, he's chaos, this and all that. I think that does him a bit of a disservice. I think we know what we mean when we say that, but I think there's an intelligent footballer there. We call it chaos and all that. For him, it's intelligent positioning, or maybe that's overstating it. So I think there's somewhere in between. So like in terms of he's got the freedom to do stuff, to try things. And so, he's sort of the moment, impulsive, but in a good way. So, I think I'll end up in this position again. If we don't know what he's doing, the opposite, how the hell are the opposition going to know what he's planning to do? So, I think there's intelligence to what he does and how he does it. He's still got obviously improve. I think some of his defending. I think last couple of weeks he's been a bit, some of his crossing and his speculative crossing has not been the greatest from the left flank, but these are just small bits that to clean up.
Strike today from distance. Oh,
yeah, no, of course, yeah. So I don't want to do him a disservice just like joking about him, but he's I think there's a lot of intelligence in, and it can't be being a left back at Arsenal must be really hard because it's the least set position. So therefore, a lot of it, the onus is on you to sort of take advantage of the opportunity set to you. And Zinchenko was an intelligent player, and he led the way. And now the subsequent people have to sort of, now I've got to evolve this position, and it can't be easy, because it takes a certain type of player there. You're not like a Tierney or whatever that you just up and down. This is
there were elements of. I mean, obviously we've seen left back be inverted a lot and whatever. At times yesterday he was doing the go pick it up from the centre halves, go and work it up the pitch. Like a quality kind of regista. And he's very, very good at that, because he travels well with the ball. He's very secure with it. He's a decent passer of the ball. And when you've got both him and Zubi both capable of doing that from depth, and then you've got him with the ability to just fully travel with the ball, that's just phenomenal. And when I say about the agent case, that's aside from, that's more when he has those moments where he just goes, I'm going in that box right now.
Yeah,
we go through you. Those moments are fantastic. I really, really love those. But you're absolutely right. What comes alongside that is a very, very intelligent footballer that's just playing really good football right now. And that is improving defensively. But to be honest, probably the main thing is actually we don't really have to rely on him a great deal defensively.
No, well, that's the thing. We don't have to.
Probably the best centre half pairing in world football right now.
Yeah.
And we just don't need him to do that job that often. So fortunately, he's got that to be helped out with. But he's doing a fantastic job this season. I'm loving seeing it, and also seeing fit Jurriën Timber, as I say, is just. I mean, I think we've answered the questions that we had to start of the season. We talked quite a bit on one of these pods about fullback being a really interesting position for the Arsenal in terms of a battle. Ben White, if he's fully fit, and MLS's emergence, and obviously now, weirdly, you've then got the Hincapi thing as well that you can completely forget about. But there is that man there as well. But at the moment, it feels quite straightforward. It's just our two best fullbacks by some distance. A Jurriën Timber at right back and Calafiori at left back. And it took about a month of the season to be fully confident that that's just that now. And unfortunately for Ben White, because he's not really done anything wrong at any given time apart from an injury.
And neither has MLS. It's just the other players. The other players are just doing better. They've got the opportunity. They've grasped the opportunity. And look, Timber, week in, week out, he's just he's my player of the season so far, and he's consistently brilliant. And he's going to get paid. We're going to renew his contract. So kudos to him. And look, had he been fit a couple of seasons ago, imagine how different that season would have been. Would we have found those extra? Could we have found? Would we have found those extra 2 points? Yeah, I'm sure we would have done. So there we go. Look, I think we know about it. And the other player I wanted to call out again is Gyökeres. He had a great game, I think, against Olympiacos. He worked so hard. I don't think he had many chances. I don't think he really had anything clear cut today. And I think we need to get used to this sort of centre forward. We've not had a centre forward like this for a while, and he's improving in terms of link-up play. There wasn't a huge amount of space for him to run into yesterday or have those things. He had a few bits and bobs, but what he does do, he's occupying the West Ham United defenders, which again, we haven't had someone do that. So therefore, they're looking at him. Therefore, that frees up Eze, frees up Ødegaard, frees up Saka, frees up, Nelly or Trossard, or frees up other players. So maybe not having that end product at the moment, but I think that will come. But I just think he creates a lot of space for others to take advantage. And I think he's putting in the hard yards, putting in the work, and it's only been him. So again, that's been a lot of pressure on him. He's not been able to, like a lot of the other positions, have been able to swap in and out. Had we had Havertz, it would have been
hard, and he's not had much time not on a football pitch at this point in time. And I must admit, there's a point in me actually just thinking could do with him just getting a bit rested up at times, to be frank. But I mean, he worked really hard. I've got no complaints about him in the game. Yeah, I'm still the same thing of I don't see him dropping in and doing the things that I want him to do. But that is what it is.
But I think again, a lot of people are evolving and developing, and we're still pretty good. And so I think it will all come. It'll all start to click, and it will come, and he will get his goals. So there we go. So look, a functional 3-0, 2-0 win, top of the league, and we move on and we'll forget about it, and let's hope we have many more of these in the season. And just one final point on yesterday's game, it was Arteta's 300th game in charge, I think we forget it's easy to forget, not that we forget, this is his first managerial job. He was appointed on the 20th of December 2019, and just what a phenomenal job. And his first game and I was looking back and say, okay, what was his first game in charge and how we evolved since then. So his first game in charge was versus Bournemouth away on Boxing Day, 1-1 draw, 26th December 2019. Dan Gosling for Bournemouth, Aubameyang for us in the 63rd minute. No, I don't know if you've looked at the notes. I put the team that we played that day. So I don't know if you've had a look at it. And if you haven't, can you sort of try and guess our starting 11 from 2019?
I haven't got that far in the notes.
Okay, good. So go and try and name me a few players.
That's interesting. I was actually at the next game. I was at the first home game, the United game.
Okay. Right.
So I'm thinking Oba, Laka. I'm thinking Gabby Martinelli, maybe, because he played under Ljungberg. But yeah, I mean, back line, my God, Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, Socrates, David Luiz, God knows. Nacho, not Nacho Monreal, Hector Bellerin.
No. Okay, let me go for it. Well, first off, it was interesting. Aaron Ramsdale was in goal for Bournemouth. That was,
of course.
He was there. So this was.
You have Petr Cech in goal.
No. So it was Leno, Luiz, Leno, Luiz, Socrates, and a young Bukayo Saka at left back.
Yeah, because he was playing under Ljungberg, wasn't he? At left. Yeah.
So Saka at left back, Luiz, Socrates, Maitland-Niles at right back, Xhaka and Torreira of Galatasaray fame at the moment, and Sunderland fame for Xhaka in the midfield. Aubameyang, Özil, Nelson as the three in front, and Lacazette up front. And on the bench, Martinez, Mavropanos, who played for West Ham yesterday, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Matteo Guendouzi.
Yeah.
So that's, look, what a job he's done. It's incredible to think, taking that dysfunctional team and club and just bit by bit changing.
What about all the wrong decisions that he's made, Tabs? What about the loaning out of William Saliba yet again? The mistreatment of William Saliba to such an extent that why would he ever stay at Arsenal, and he will leave immediately at some point, regardless of this somehow magic 5-year deal that he was obviously forced to sign with the gun to his head, and the lack of youth that he's given a chance to, and the terrible decision he made over letting go of the new Didier Deschamps that was Matteo Guendouzi, because he can't understand his maverick nature.
You can take that tongue firmly out of your cheek. Look, he's not been perfect, but as this was saying, this is his first managerial job, and as I said, to take that dysfunctional team, and the club behind the scenes were also dysfunctional, and he's changed it bit by bit. He's changed the culture, and what he also did, it was amazing. So certain you get the likes of Postecoglou, right? Oh, this is my style. I'm not going to change it for anything. And what happens to that? No, Arteta changed what his principles were, what he wanted to adapt his team. So when he went to 3 at the back, and we won the FA Cup, that was because, well, this is what I've got. So this is the best I can do with this team. This is not where I want to be, and this is not where we're going. But this is what I'm going to do now to get us to the next level. And so he changed what he wanted to do to suit the team. But then over the course of years, he's changed the team to get the style of play he wants. And again, bit by bit, we started to see it with Jesus and Zinchenko, and that was really the beginning of where he wanted to go, and we've evolved since then. And he's continuously learning, continuously improving. As I said, not been perfect, ruffled a few feathers, pissed off a few fans, but it's amazing, and it's a shame we haven't got more to show for it. But I think we're really fortunate to have someone like him with his passion, his love for Arsenal, talent, desire, ability, to be in charge, and long may it continue. And hopefully the success that I think he deserves will come, because I don't think there's many better. And again, it's his first job. And the stat I saw yesterday was like, he's got 177 wins now, which is the most wins for a manager of a top flight English club side in their first 300 games. Most wins for a manager of a top flight. Yeah. I think that's the stat anyway. So he's done amazing. Yeah, he's been good. I don't know any thoughts on him other than the the sarcasm.
I mean, it's been great, right?
Yeah.
And to, as you say, to go from there, and I know that he didn't have a full season that season. A lot of people criticised because we finished eighth, having previously been finishing better than that. But anybody who watched us under Emery knew that we absolutely creeped our way to that fifth spot. It was not good. It was very. You were just watching a team that was just getting by in individual moments of magic, and we were really, really running out of them. And those players that we relied on for them as well, which was Özil, Ramsey, and Aubameyang, were running out of those moments in their careers as well. To be completely frank, and yeah, for him to take the the basket case that was that team. That was really kind of going the wrong way and turn it around. It took a bit of suffering. It took that year of of not making any progress and finishing eighth, and then it just went really fast. Right? It felt like, oh, we've got a bit of a squad together here. Oh, this is interesting. This might be quite fun. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, we're competing for a title. It's great. It was so quick that I think at times we sort of didn't quite appreciate the improvement for as long as we probably should have. That party atmosphere that we had all sort of came down to earth a little bit in that what was his second full season when we had the point in time around about when we lost to Newcastle, when we sort of jumped out of the challenging for the league title. I always sort of felt we probably should have partied for a bit longer. We probably should have let ourselves know what a fantastic job he'd done and that we did have our Arsenal back and all those chances that we gave at that time. We didn't enjoy that for long enough, and I do think now we've kind of moved straight into that mode of now Arteta has to win something. Now anything he does is meaningless if he doesn't win anything. And to be fair to him, that's kind of how he talks as well, right? That's what he said yesterday. That was his post-match interview was something along the lines of, I've got a great record, but what does it matter? I haven't won anything, Like
it's good. I like that. That's a mentality that we want.
I do think we've got to celebrate the fact that we are, exactly as you highlighted, all those games ago, 300 games ago, this was a basket case. It just was. So, and he's been there has been off-pitch stuff as well. There's been, Kroenke's getting more involved, the right people being hired in various different off-pitch, roles, good recruitment, all sorts. But he has been at the heart of absolutely everything. There's no doubt he has changed the mindset of the whole club.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where that culture thing is so important. And and we've seen it like at Man United, you can spend all the money in the world if behind the scenes it's a shit show. You need that culture, that right mindset, the right people behind you, the right backing, everyone moving towards the same goals, and it is so important. And you don't get sustainable. You don't build a team. And also what he's done, it's not for a moment. It's not, I'll win a cup here or win a cup there or one. No, he wants to build a sustainable future and to be winning consistently, not just one-offs here and there. And look, there's no guarantees. Who knows what happens in a few years' time? But you can see what he's doing. So look, like any club, like anything, it may not be enough for some people. It's people want more, people want something different, people are more immediate, and that's fine. That's what they want, and so they'll be down in him and think, well, if it's not him, then we need to get someone else, and whatever. For us, I feel like we're incredibly fortunate that we have him. As I said, he's not the media's favourite. He ruffles a few feathers. He's not the PGML favourite. He ruffles a few feathers there. Doesn't do us any favors in that regard, but I would take that in terms of everything else that we get from him. I don't want him to be a media loving, media darling, and all the rest of it, because he stands up for what he believes. He stands up for these clubs, and it's the other people that are the problem, not him. So we're
not we're not meek under him, right? Like there was a thing that happened at the Arsenal where we did become quite meek, quite. I remember when Pepe signed, for instance, and when people did think it was going to be some wonderful signing. Still nowhere near as bad as made up of it.
No, I'm with you on that one. Don't worry, they've been a lot worse.
When he signed, I remember being just a bit disturbed because I was having a look at Reddit and Twitter and stuff, and a load of people were on about, well, if we get 3 good years out of him and then he goes to Barcelona, and that's good, isn't it? And it's like, when did we sort of become a club that just was like, oh, we're getting a player in before he goes to Barcelona? Sort of really strange kind of cultural moment for me, that. And we were super meek. And when you think about, the Saliba conversations as well, when he came in, and it was like, well, we'll have him until such a point in time that he goes somewhere proper or whatever. It was like we weren't a proper club anymore. It was like we were very much a second-tier club, right? And now, the difference in those...
Well, we're challenging for the major trophies. We're there. Yeah, again, like we've said in the past, like of course we want to win, but finishing second 3 times in a row, or 2 times in a row, I've lost count now. it's still remarkable. Who else is doing that? Who else is challenging, and who else is up there trying to give the top teams a battle, and stuff. So look, and that meekness, you're right. It's interesting because on the pitch, it was like Arsenal don't like it up them. It was always that, that sort of thing, and that translate off the pitch. And again, this is all part of the culture of who you are. And he's changed that. You don't fuck with Arsenal now. Look at the team that we have. Look at the size of the players we have, the stature of the players. And off the pitch, you don't fuck with Berta.
And Holly made that great comment about when Saliba signed the 5-year deal the other week. Holly was on, and he made that really good comment about that shows how much Arteta has an impact as well. That if a player is willing to sit with you for 5 years and go, no, cool, my future's with you, boss. It tells you everything you need to know. I think it's a good time to celebrate the man and say how well he's done, and not dwell on bits and bobs that you sometimes get frustrated about, or that you feel you want.
That's always happens.
The overall impact that he's had on this football club has been just phenomenal.
Incredible indeed. Okay, so look, just before we sign off, just wanted thoughts on the season so far. So after 7 games, as we've sort of like enjoyed saying a few times, we are now top of the league. So played 7, won 5, drawn 1, lost 1, scored 4. So for a conservative, defensively minded team, we've scored 14 goals, which is not bad, and only let in 3. So we've got a plus 11 goal difference, best in the league by 3. The Spuds have got plus 8, having scored 13, let in 5, and City, with 1 game to play, they're playing Brentford today, scored 14, let in 6, so plus 8. So there we go. So that's not bad for conservative Arteta. And look, I think given the fixtures and the injuries and the bedding in of 8 new players, I think that's pretty impressive. All this. As I think so far so good. I think we would all take this. And one incredible stat was that we've only allowed 5.32 xG across 10 games this season. Some teams let in that in a game. We have only let that in across 10 games. And we've played Man U, and we've played Liverpool, and we played Newcastle all away, Man City at home. So we've let in 1 open play goal. So it's just it's remarkable, and we're 5 points up on the same fixtures of last season. So the 2 wins against West Ham and Newcastle offset the loss to Liverpool. So I think we're well set. How do you feel about the season so far?
It's looking good, right? I think as you say, I think fixtures. We're top of the league, and we've had a harder fixture list, I think, than anyone else in the Premier League. We looked at it at the outset, and we're like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. If we come out of that and we're within 2 points of Liverpool, then we're good." And as it's worked out, perfect time for the wheels to come off the Liverpool bus, right? That's quite fun. I just look at it and just think it's real testimony as well that we've just had. Again, not to harp on about the point, but the fact that players come in and out of this team that we haven't had, maybe the start that we've talked about. What could have been different to last season is, nobody gets injured, nobody gets suspended. Nobody has got sent off due to a new silly reffing rule. That has been nice. But players have got injured. Bukayo Saka has been injured. Kai Havertz has got injured. Martin Ødegaard is having this on and off. Gabriel's missed games. Saliba's missed games. Top players in our team have missed games, and people have stepped in and done jobs, and nobody's worried about it. And that's what makes me really, really hopeful for the rest of the season. Is that it feels like, unlike previous years, it's going to be very, very hard to make a sizable dent in this team. We can lose world-class players and have players step in that are very, very impactful and just that touch below, We're sitting here waiting for Madueke to come back. God, we've got loads of injuries. But it's fine because we just can deal with them now. And that's just such a difference maker. So that's the thing that stands out to me, is the fact that we don't feel forlorn without anybody. We just seem to be trucking on. And I'm really excited for what the rest of the season can be.
Yeah, no, we're well set. It's good. Like it's still early. 7 games. I think normally after 10, you've settled into the pattern of things. So let's see. Look, we'll talk about the next set of games in the next pod, in future pods during the international break. So I don't want to sort of go on about that. So that's it. So
a piece of piss for ages now.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. No, yeah. So no, you're right. But we'll just touch on that in another pod. We've been going for an hour and 10 now, so that's pretty good to exhaust out of a pretty comfortable 2-0 win against West Ham. So there we go. So thank you, Saka, for 200 games, and thank you, Arteta, for 300. They helped us out. So look, thanks, Jamie, for joining me this Sunday morning. Hope you have an enjoyable rest of the day.
I will. I'm off for a big old walk now.
Good for you. Good for you. And yeah, look. You can follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, Insta, TikTok, YouTube. Trying to post a few videos here and there, and all that jazz. Next show. Not sure what it's going to be, when it's going to be. We may have a community cast or two. We may have a couple of days off, but we'll be definitely back and preview the Fulham game after the international break. But we'll figure something out. And there we go. And as I said at the beginning, if you enjoy what you hear from us, please like, subscribe, comment, rate, all that jazz on the podcast feeds. Really appreciate it. So there we go. So that all leaves me to say is, happy Sunday, everyone. We are top of the league. And until the next time, come on, you Gunners.